Hi, I'm Lauren, and today I'll be reading Chapter 4 of the Geneva Project, Truth, by Christina Benjamin. Hope you guys enjoy. Smack! A crack with a rolled-up stack of papers to the back of my head brought me swiftly back to reality. I was sitting at one of the large wooden tables in Miss Nelia's class. She was our reading and writing teacher, and I normally found myself in trouble with her because I always got so caught up in the stories we were reading that I'd end up daydreaming, just like I had today. Number 65. Would you please pick up where number 31 left off? Miss Nelia said impatiently. Her round brown eyes peered at me over the rims of her glasses. Oh no, I had no idea where that is. Stupid Nova, getting me in trouble again. Why can't I stop thinking about him? I thought frantically. Number 65. Don't make me repeat myself again. Sorry, ma'am. What page are we on again? Miss Nelia, can I please continue reading? Number 31 interrupted sweetly. You know 65 will just stutter her way through the chapter anyway. Very well, 31. You may continue, sighed Miss Nelia. Then 31 grinned at me with an overly sweet smile, and the rest of the class snickered in response as she began to stutter through the reading, imitating me. That's enough, 31. Let's all settle down and please continue, Miss Nelia warned. I couldn't stop glaring at 31. I hated her in a way I'd never hated anyone or anything before. I had never done anything to her, but she hated me nonetheless. Anger was boiling up inside of me, blinding my thoughts. As I was feeling my eyes start to well up, the bell chimed, and we were dismissed. I bolted into the hallway ahead of the others, and was about to round the corner into the Jane's room when Remy caught up with me. 65, wait up. Are you okay? He asked. I don't want her to see me cry, I choked out. Okay, come on. We'll go back to our room. No, I just want to be alone right now, okay? I sobbed as I ran off. I ran out to the courtyard, straight back to the hole in the wall where Nova had brought me. I curled up behind the shelter of the large palms and cried myself dry. Soon I heard everyone spilling out into the courtyard to get ready for work. I was in a foul mood, but I crawled out from behind the palm and met up with my ear. I had managed to hide through lunch, but skipping flood work was not an option unless you wanted to get straight to the locker. I joined Remy and stood in line while the older kids got escorted out first. Nova gave my ponytail a tug as he walked by. Hey! I yelled. When I saw him wink and give that devilish smile, I couldn't help but laugh. So that's him, huh? Said Remy bitterly. Yeah, why do you say it like that? I asked. No reason, just forget it. Okay, fine. What do you want to talk about then? I said. How about work so we don't get in trouble today, okay? Replied Remy. Fine. Are you excited that we get to work out in the forest soon? It'll be time for the New Year gala soon, and we'll be 14. That's old enough to go work in the forest. I guess. I'm excited, chirped the small girl in front of me. I stopped for a moment to look at the tiny smiling girl. Her name was Jane number 42, and she was in our year. She'd never really spoken to me before, but she seemed friendly enough with her shining amber eyes and her bright smile taking up most of her delicate face. See, 42's excited for the forest. This job is getting dull. We've been picking through these rocks since we were 8. I'm ready for something new. I guess so, said Remy. Well, don't forget we will get to go into the forest and see what all the fuss is about, I said in our favorite teacher's exaggerated voice. Come on, you know you're excited to put all that boring reading from Plants and Poisons class into use. This got Remy to giggle a bit, because that was our favorite class. Our teacher, Miss Banna, was a little bit over-animated. She would get so excited describing a poisonous plant to us and what it could do to a person that she would get winded and have to sit down on her desk and fan herself while wiping little beads of sweat from her forehead with the old cloth she kept tucked in her shirt. We loved to mimic her frenzied voice when studying for her exams. We spent a better part of our walk to the field having a great time impersonating her. Even little 42 chuckled quietly as Remy and I joked. Well, I have never seen such a horrible, vile, suffering, infested infection as when someone mistakes a cantamum for a crenia, I quipped. Having a good laugh, 65? You know I could tell a grift on you, and you'd go straight to the locker, steamed number 31. You might not be so funny then, would you? She must have been walking behind us the whole way there. Remy froze, knowing that 31 was cruel enough to do it. I turned to face her. Oh, give me a break, 31. I wasn't even talking to you, okay? What's that supposed to mean? It doesn't mean anything, 31. She's sorry, aren't you? Said number 42. What's this? Did you make a new friend, 65? That makes sense since you can't even talk for yourself. You have to have your little friends do it, don't you? Is this because you're afraid that you'll stutter? Squawked 31. No, I don't have a stutter and I don't have a problem, unlike you, Gemma. Silence. Now I noticed that I was attracting a crowd, and for some reason, this just infuriated me. Why was I always a freak show? What did you call me? She hissed. You heard me. I know your name and that you act all mean and tough because you're really just sad inside like the rest of us, because you miss your little sister. Pain. Blackness. After that, everything is a bit spotty. At first, there was a crunching sound, then more pain and more blackness. Then I heard shouting. Then I saw the sky. It was blinding. Then Remy's head was in the sky. Then blackness again. Then it smelled like salty forest earth. Then I saw Nova's head in the sky, eclipsing the sun. Did he have a halo? Nova? I whispered. Blackness. It was black for so long I started to panic. I must be in the locker. Of course I was in the locker. What was I thinking? How could I have said her name? I know better. It's just... Oh, she gets me so mad. What is her problem with me anyway? Ugh. I really shouldn't have said that. She's never going to leave me alone now. Oh no. What happened to Remy? And 42. I didn't mean to get them in trouble. Why did I have to say anything? Poor Remy, he's going to kill me. That is, if he ever speaks to me again after getting sent to the locker. Then I'll have 0 friends. Nova, he's my friend, right? Why did he have to tell me his stupid name anyway? That's what started this whole thing. Nova. Nova. There you are. We were starting to worry about you, little Jane. Light. I opened my eyes to see our nurse, Miss Bria's large face staring down at mine. You were out for a long time, little miss, and talking up a storm just a minute ago. What's Nova? Oh, crud. What did I say, I wondered. What happened to me, Miss Bria? I asked. Well, you fell off the rubble pile, dear, and that's how you got the black eye. Don't you remember? Must have been some fall. What? I popped up to try to look at my face, but it must have been too fast because the room started swimming and I felt all hot and clammy. You better stay lying down, dear. I think you have a concussion. Suddenly it came back to me, and I remembered perfectly that Gemma had punched me square in the face for saying her name and saying that she missed her sister. I did not fall off the rubble pile. I've never fallen off. Who would make up such a story? I was gonna go with it, though, because maybe if no one knew the truth, I wouldn't end up in the locker. How'd I get here? I asked. John 18, she whispered. Why did women always whisper when they said his name? I thought to myself, while I tried to absorb what she was saying. Oh, he brought me here? Why, yes, and he's been checking up on you quite often, always wondering if you're awake yet. Shall I go get him and tell him you're all right? Maybe? I stammered. Yes, he'll want to see you. I'll be right back. Now stay put, okay? And then she hustled out the door. I was happy to stay where I was. I laid in bewilderment. I had so many questions. Like, how was I not in the locker by now? Where was Remy and 42? Where was Gemma? Surely she had to be writing me out by now. There was no way she was going to let this go. She would bug me for days just for stuttering over a name or shedding a tear. But this was much worse. I suddenly realized I was shivering. I was shaking at the thought of what I was in store for as soon as I stepped out of the nurse's station. Maybe Gemma hadn't told on me yet because what she had in store for me was worse than a trip to the locker. Just as I was working out through all the possible forms of harassment Gemma might have planned for me, Nova walked in. Hey, Tippy, you're awake. About time, too, he jested. So, how are you feeling? You was all I could get out. I was happy to see him, but then I remembered that I was mad at him for the whole name situation in the first place. but then I felt hazy and I couldn't quite connect the thoughts in my head with words coming out of my mouth. Nova twirled the bedside chair around and straddled it backwards. His face was inches from mine. I instinctively felt myself stop breathing as he placed his hand on my forehead. Miss Brea, I think 65 may have a fever. Would you be able to get her a friend-lick palm so that we can soak to draw the heat out? Oh, of course, 18. That's exactly what we need to do. You're so clever. I'll go get it this instant. You have to stay here with her, okay? Miss Brea sprung into action as soon as Nova had addressed her. I'd never seen her move so fast. She bustled around the office, seeming not to know how to find the door before she finally gave a nervous laugh and scurried through it. Now we were all alone. Despite this, he still leaned in closer and whispered to me, I have to do this fast, so listen to every word I say, okay? All I could do was nod. Good. Now I've made up this story and we're all sticking to it, so memorize it or we're all going to the locker. You were climbing the rubble pile and you lost your footing and fell. You fell into 31 too, and all you went off the pile, so that's why she has a black eye too. I saw it happen and ran over to make sure everyone was all right. You were unconscious, so I brought you to the nurse station directly. I nodded again, not sure if there was more to his story or if I was supposed to speak. Do you understand that? Nod. Nod. Okay, what's wrong with you? Did you forget how to speak? I could never shut you up, and I just told you a tremendous lie, and you're just staring at me. I don't really remember what happened. It's foggy. Nova stared at me for a moment, then started to smooth my flaxen blonde hair back out of my face. He tucked an unruly strand behind my ear, and I really thought I might have a fever as my cheeks reddened. What do you remember? He whispered. I got into a fight with Gemma. She was going to try to get us in trouble, so I yelled at her. I said her name, and I think I might have let slip that I knew she lost her sister. Tippy, it's your fault. You told me all that stuff, and then she was just being so awful to me, and it just slipped out. That's when she hit me. Okay, so how did you hit her back? What are you talking about? I didn't hit her. What did she say to you? She hit me, and that's all I remember. I think I hit my head, and then I remember seeing Remy, and it was black, and then I smelled you. Nova laughed at this, and then said, okay. Anyway, you really don't remember what you did to her? Remember what? I just told you what happened. What am I missing? Just then, I heard an out-of-breath nurse huffing towards us down the hallway. Tippy, listen to me. I don't have time to explain it all right this second. Nova spat out rapidly, in a hurried, hushed voice that I've never heard him use before. You need to stick to the story, I told you, and keep saying it. Keep saying you don't remember what happened if anyone else questioned you. I'll explain it all later. They're going to let you back to your room soon, and I'll come find you. In the meantime, promise me you won't say anything to anyone, and stay away from Gemma. I wanted to protest, but the stress in his normally carefree voice frightened me. I stared at him wide-eyed and nodded. He gave my hand a squeeze and met Miss Brea at the door of my room. Oh, 18, how is she? I got back as soon as I could. I've got the leaves, she gasped, waving them triumphantly in the air for both of us to see. She must have been running because she was still trying to catch her breath, and she looked more in need of the fever-reducing leaves than I did. Miss Brea is a sweet woman normally, but she was really turning on the charm for some unapparent reason. Nova put his arm over her shoulder and turned her back towards her office. I think she's doing much better. I have a few concerns, though. Let's soak these leaves and talk out here, he said, leading her out. As I watched them stroll out of my room, I thought I saw Remy peeking in the door close behind them. I tried to sit up, but my head fought me and I felt woozy again. After the pounding in my ears subsided, I could hear bits of what they were saying. Oh, hello, dear. Can I help you? Said Miss Brea's voice. Then nothing. Then I heard Nova's voice, but I couldn't make out the words. Then Miss Brea again. Yes, you're right. She shouldn't have any visitors right now. I'll let her know you stopped by. Now run along so you're not late for class. Then I heard Nova say something else, and Miss Brea gave a girlish laugh. Then I must have drifted off to sleep. Alright, that was chapter 4, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be back for chapter 5 later.